Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Ham Radio Clubhouse.
Well, look who it is, my friends. We made it. It's early. You know, I'm normally a night owl, and I would be drinking by now, but we've got to do this again at 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm just having water. That way I don't pass out in the middle of the stream. Welcome to the Ham Radio Clubhouse Special Edition. I guess we should probably mention that guy.
Hola.
That guy? Him? In the
middle? Live long and prosper.
Some know him as Mike Zero Mike Charlie X-Ray. We know him as Callum, Lord Callum, the DX Commander himself. Welcome to the Ham Radio Clubhouse, my friend. How are you?
Welcome to the Ham Radio Clubhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I'm Callum, and these guys are joining me. It's actually my show. I'm pulling your leg.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm fine, guys. I'm fine. I just can't believe I'm with you guys. I think you guys are amazing.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. We try our best.
And particularly beer snacks with the upside down hat thing.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Smoking 8-bits in the house. I've just seen him on the chat.
I need to pull up the chat. I don't have the chat open. Oh, well. I'm going to just sit here and hang out with my friends here.
All of our friends are
Anyway, don't let me interrupt you.
Oh, this is a very casual show. Nothing is scripted. We wait for someone to shout squirrel, and it will derail the show, guaranteed. Almost guaranteed.
That train will jump the tracks and go down a dirt road real fast. Put your seatbelt on.
I'm just after a really interesting question that I haven't been asked before.
You know, I have struggled with that, and I think the first thing I want to know is, outside of ham radio, do you do anything besides? Do you do any? I've seen the drums, but are there any hobbies when you've said F ham radio, F DX Commander? I'm tired of all this stuff. What is your
balance? What are you doing?
Your balance.
What's your balance?
Shit.
You asked for it.
We're going down deep today. We're going to go down deep.
You could have bloody warned me. Well, I live in the bunker.
I told you it's not scripted.
Yeah. So at night, I live in the bunker here. Yeah, I do. I haven't played the drums a lot. Actually, since the beginning of lockdown. And in fact, I nearly sold them. And then Wendy said, well, you don't need the money right now, so what are you selling them for? So I thought, yeah, okay. So they're just sitting there waiting for a rainy day. But Wendy and I actually spend a lot of time with each other. I know you probably can't believe it, the amount of videos I put out, the amount of time I spend, working and making my living and stuff. But most of my spare time is actually with Wendy, unless I might be drinking. Right.
Oh, I'm with you there, buddy.
There's a bit of drinking sometimes, with men folk, right? But I spend a lot of time with Wendy. And then since probably parallel to fitting the factory out all this year, I've been doing DIY stuff in the house, In fact, I've come home from work the last 2 days early because we've got some really old furniture, cheap furniture, because we could never afford anything years ago. And we decided to get rid of it all. But nobody wanted it, and you had to pay to get it picked up. So what I did is I got my circular saw out and a lump hammer thing, and I've just been smashing it all up outside. And that's just really nice fun.
That's great stress relief, breaking
I was
things.
thinking of a couple of my subscribers, actually.
Hey, Cal, I have a
just the ones in this room.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Cal. So there's so many videos about the DX Commander and how the build of it. But when you're driving, when you're doing something, are you always trying to come up with new things? Like, are you actively working on development of product and improving it? And what's your process on that? Like, how do you just have some idea and then you start just grinding away at it?
Yeah. So, right now, I'm going through a process, or I'm paying for it, to be diagnosed, possibly with some sort of autism, ADHD. In fact, put it this way, I flew through the assessment. This very rarely older people get diagnosed with this stuff, but it would settle a lot of questions for me because there's a couple of things. So I'm completely obsessive, okay? Normally over DX Commander. I'm obsessive over, like just all the tiny things. And I think it's the tiny things. If you look at successful small companies, very often it is the owner that's just obsessive about all the tiny things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, we ordered, I will get to the question in a minute, but we ordered, every couple of months, we order, I think, 8 reels of shock cord from a company called Marlowe Rope. Very expensive. It was marine quality shock cord. Years ago, we used to buy the eBay stuff, but paid a little bit extra, and it's quite good. And they delivered it. Well, they haven't delivered it. They're delivering it tomorrow now, but they tried to deliver it to the old farm yesterday. And Wendy, has got emails going back and forth. And I just said, oh, God, what a nightmare for them. And maybe we should help them change it was with a delivery company called DPD. Maybe we should, maybe I should phone or whatever else. No, let them do it. It's their blooming problem. But I put myself into the sales office at Marlowe Ropes, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I've made a mistake, and what am I going to do? I've got to fix it. And Wendy said, honey, they can't give a shit. They're just some corporation. And we'll get the stuff maybe next week. It's like she's trying to train me sometimes that not everybody's like me,
Yeah.
So it is, I think it's an obsession. So because if you, and I'm sure, by the way, a lot of people in ham radio like this. They've got a bit of this kind of autism thing, which means we are very obsessive. That's why some people can't stop collecting QSL cards, things like that, or getting a new DXCC entity. But, and it's through the obsession that you start to think up solutions to problems that don't exist.
You create them. You manifest that problem.
Oh, yeah.
So I got sent a sample, this is a while ago now, of a 12-metre pole. Now, most people haven't seen my 12-metre pole. It is unfriggin' believable. It take a regular DX Commander and double it in its density, not its size. It's 12.4 metres high. It's actually the cut-down version of the 18-metre Nebula, right?
Nebula.
Beautiful. And I thought, I've got to make something out of this. So I just scratched my head for a long time. And I thought, actually, what the market, a lot of DX Commander, the original classic users, are after, now that they're used to it and everything else, is something more substantial. So I thought, what I could do with the extra 2, 3, that's 9, 10 feet, 12 feet maybe, on top, we could create an 80-metre linear loaded or coil. I haven't quite done it yet, for 80, and then still put 40 and 30 and 20 and a few other elements, and have, instead of the classic series, we'll have the signature series, So, and then I just start worried, just the gears start going, Daniel, whatever your friggin' name is, because everybody called you something else. And
mostly call me Jackass, but that's all right.
just call me Twat.
Just call him Molson.
So, for instance, I've nearly. The thing is, in this world that we live in, is we can't. We don't really invent anything, because if you think about it, the laws of physics exist all the time, and they're pretty standard. All we can do is discover, if you know what I mean. So if I took my little 7-metre pole, it's actually about 6.8. I wanted to make that into like a DX Commander, like a cut-down version, maybe for 30 and up. And it worked. It was perfect. All right, we called it the Rapide. Don't ask me why. I just woke up one morning and thought it sounded cool. And but then I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool to just bring the wire up the pole and just go round a few times and carry on? We'll probably get 40 as well. Right. So we did that, but it knocked all the other elements out, and it just took me, it was about 9 days, almost sleepless. I was there 9 in the morning, you know, till I got tired. 10 in the morning. Just trying to get this thing. Mate, I phoned, there's a friend of mine called James, who's extremely bright, you know, one of these guys.
Yeah.
And I phoned Mike, M0MSN. He's on YouTube, makes a lot of magnetic loops and stuff like that. And gradually started to form what will probably work. So I stripped it all down, put it all back together again. But it's the obsession, and it works fine, but it's the obsession that takes you there. I've just got to tell you a funny story, because just to describe the sort of person that James is. So some of you guys will know that I'm 5 miles as the bumblebee flies. They say the crow, don't they? Between here and my little factory. And it is, not quite, but it's almost line of sight. And now, about a year now, I've been doing all the modelling and I've spoken to people. There's no reason, put it this way, there's 3 trees in the way. But anyway, there's no reason why we can't get a 5 gig link working. Yeah. So we've now, a fellow called Steve Nelson on my channel sent me down a couple of rocket dishes, massive things, with the radios from Ubiquiti. And I finally plugged them all in the other day. Mike was at the workshop. We couldn't flash the new firmware, and we didn't want to put the link in with the old firmware because it literally is 10 years old. So James said, well, come round the house. So I went round, I think last Friday, because he doesn't live that far away. And he tried everything I tried, and he went, okay, fine. And this is just, you know, there's some people we know in our lives, particularly in the ham radio world, and all of a sudden they start doing something and you've got no freaking idea what they're doing. So he fired up this DOS window and started, and I was about 6 feet from him, so I couldn't quite see the screen. I just knew he was going, you know, and a little script went through my head, because it was just like he was saying directly to the device, because he like went, oh yes, we're in. And he went,
he started talking to it.
I said to Wendy, I said, no, I'm not joking, I thought he typed, hello, this is your Jedi Master. And the little device went, hello, Master. Do this, do that. Before we know it, we had the new firmware in. That's sort of what James is. So when you surround yourself with interesting people,
absolutely.
You know, you it's easier to, because you can bounce stuff off them then, can't you?
Right.
Another milk, sir?
Can I, just a follow-up question. You talk about Wendy. From the beginning videos before you shifted into your new factory, I know that she was at home preparing the kits of hardware, but just watching the new videos, it just seems like the move has not only improved the business, but there's a whole camaraderie in the family that's really increased between your son, your son who's really involved, even your daughter. I see her more out, like, you know, just I can tell that the family's into this. They're invested. How's that been for the change with the new factory, with everything?
Oh, you can make me cry in a minute. It's insane.
Way to go, Daniel.
It's yeah, I know. This guy needs a gold star.
He gets one every Tuesday. Trust me.
Oh, does he? Okay. It's just a wonderful experience, to be honest, because, you know, when Lockie and I built the worktop, you know, I knew that Wendy would be building her kits on it. So I got her there and I said, what height do you want it? Everything, you know, and it's so nice to see her. And I invested, we spent a lot of money this year, but my subscribers gave us a lot of money. If you remember, at the back end of last year, we had a bit of a fundraising campaign. So I bought her these really nice scales where she can, and Lockie worked it out with the user guide, she can just press a button, like this is washers, and she just pours washers on, it'll tell her there's 23, you know, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just lovely to see it. So she can do 20 kits now in, let's say, an hour. I don't know actually how long it takes her. Yeah. Whereas she used to have to come in, the garage is behind me here. She used to come in, get all the boxes, take them all into the kitchen. You know, she'd count 17 little washers out by hand, put them in little takeaway curry things, you know, just from the Chinese, whatever. And you know, she had a little plastic bag machine to seal them up. it was just, and then she'd have to put it all away, So it's fantastic. So everything I've done for her, putting the shelves up, so it's just all to hand. And you're right, it's tremendous. Lockie seems to be, that's all he has to do is to start with, I didn't know that he wanted to actually, because the beginning of the year, I'd do all the labels, you see, and then he started doing dispatching. Right. But now what he wanted the responsibility of literally logging into FedEx, logging into our system, awesome. dropping the zip code in. He checks the prices. He raises a little flag with me sometimes if, let's say the customer's spent £40 on shipping and it's costing us 55. He says, well, what do I do about it? Normally, I just say, well, just ship it because it's maybe a weird country, Mm-hmm. So like the Australians, they should really be paying about another $15 or $20 more. But the volume's so low, that doesn't really matter. I prefer the Australians to get the same price as the USA boys. Then everybody's just paying the same, you see.
Right.
Thank you.
And as Don says, my son actually juggles.
Yes, that's
It's awesome.
Let me tell you something. When you introduced, following what Molson was saying, because I'm sure off camera, just like with my family, we started again. I'm a brand new channel. I'm only 9 months in, but there was a discussion of who wants to be on camera and who doesn't.
Yes.
And and at first, some people said no, I want to be behind the camera. I'll help you. And when you introduced us to Loki, when you were building the outside, there was a garden trestle. I believe that could have been the first time you were introduced us, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, that's a good kid. And then as things progressed, but we saw a different side of him when he did the juggling, and I'm like, I would kill for a day to work in that warehouse with him. And
right?
Because I do shipping. I've done shipping and warehousing for a lot of different projects with family and work. But I never had a juggler there, just to kind of, and it's got to be fun. And that's the whole point about it. It does. And when you take something you love, and now you're incorporating your family, and now you're having that fun, it just makes it. Even a bad day it's not so much a bad day, Yeah. And you're very blessed. You're very blessed.
Yeah, we don't. We get the work done, and we don't chat. It's not an endless stream of chitter chat,
right?
If you know what I mean. What we do is that we will get our stuff done, and he goes to the cafe, gets his sandwich or whatever, and then he gets on Reddit, all the things he does, Although he watches all my videos, he knows the numbers, subscribers, numbers growth. I don't know. He must. He actually told me I hit 38,500 the other day.
Back room, he's digging with all that back room analytics. Yeah.
So then we just chat, maybe a couple of times a day. It might be because I'm an old fart, and this is about my 4th or 5th life now on this planet. I've got some interesting stories, So he quite likes the old stories, The times I should have died, And,
I've had a few of those myself. How am I still here?
You got more coming. Let me tell you something, young fella.
I drove a long haul truck for the longest time, and I had one accident in my entire driving career. But I rolled an 80,000 pound vehicle 3 times, and how I did not die, no clue. I had a scratch right there. Amazing. And I crawled out the windshield, and I was like, well, that was a hell of a ride.
Wow.
And everyone around me is like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm cool, man. That sucked. But it was...
Sorry, go ahead, Shane.
Well, so I just wanted to segue. What got you into ham radio? Or have you always, was it a family thing? What
It was CB. That's what it was. It was CB.
That was going to be. I was going to say that was going to be my guess. CB.
But actually, there's a couple of things happened before that. So when I was a boy, I went to this. It was an English boarding school for real, right? And we had something called the Combined Cadet Force. It's like a little army for 12-year-olds, And they had the wire that went from effectively the radio room to this tree, and I would hear the big boys in there probably on 5 megs or something on a Saturday morning doing check it. I had no idea what they were doing, but it just, I knew then that there was a certain element of magic to radio that you've either kind of got it or you haven't. And then, of course, I worked on this millionaire's private yacht, and on board we had this huge industrial-looking radio thing. And occasionally I would just have to sit on the bridge if everybody was out. And they didn't trust me on this thing. So they said, don't touch anything. Right.
Just come get one of us if we're about to hit something.
But I used to switch this radio on and I'd have a little twiddle around. Sometimes I could hear things and other times I could hear nothing. So I must have hit the mute button or something. I don't know. But the captain would pick up, it was like a phone, with a push to talk button. And it had a loudspeaker as well, but he would go, he'd go, and there was a huge, great radio. We were in the Mediterranean. There's a big Mediterranean, used to be a marine radio station called Portishead, which isn't so far away from Bristol. So it's in the southwest of England anyway. And we had a big white stick thing, on the top side of the bridge. And he would go, Portishead Radio, this is Golf Victor India Delta. I still remember our call sign. And they would come back clear as a bell. Golf Victor India Delta, good morning, Portishead Radio, how can I help you this morning? And normally it would be, hello, our boss, wants to make a phone call, and he'd give the phone number, and they would do a phone patch.
Yeah.
And he would normally speak to his son, who ran the casino for him. So those two things, when I actually discovered CB, I thought, even before I switched it on, I thought that these things actually exist. Had CB not come along, I think I would have probably still got into ham radio eventually, because I think our job sometimes is just introducing ham radio to as many people as we can.
Absolutely.
Because in 20 years' time, eventually they're going to go, what was that thing Don was talking about, or Shane was talking about? I want to have a look at that. That's quite good.
Steve, did you have a question that popped up on the screen there?
Hang on. I got too many mute buttons going over here.
Don't mute yourself.
Mute StreamYard. I got
somebody.
Voice meter.
Yeah.
Well, dude said, do we dare ask him about the lieutenant dude?
I think that's a fantastic topic. So Cal, did you hear of someone creating a copy of the DX Commander and calling it the Lieutenant Dude? I believe Ham Radio Dude YouTube channel would be where you would find that. But did anyone ever? Did you get tons of email going? This SOB in the U.S. is trying to mock up and fake make one of your antennas.
There's quite a few. In fact, I invite people to send me the photographs of their homebrew attempts, and I support them. I do. I really do. Because these are the people who, are just interested. The chances are in 2 months' time they'll take it down and build something else anyway. So, and a number of these people have said, "Oh, to hell with it! I'll just buy you a frigging kit."
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because that's exactly what happened.
Right.
At the end of the video, he's like, "Just buy a DX Commander."
Was that done? Was it? Yeah.
Well, that's when I found you. When I found you about a year and a half ago, I was searching for a vertical. I wanted something different. The fan dipole has, and you have said it. It's been around for years and years and years and years. I never understood what they were talking, but you got to me. You got inside my head.
Okay.
And then I watched your video again, and I watched your video for a third time, and I said, this is incredible. And I bought it, and then I got it home. I screwed up. I cut everything to the. I didn't follow your instructions, and that's my fault because I cut everything too. I probably cut everything for what you would operate on, not what I would operate on. So I ordered some more of that DX10 wire from you.
Okay.
I took my time. The wife helped me, and I got it in the backyard, and I have been one happy guy now for over a year and a half.
Wow.
So once again, it's something, and you have said it many times, make it your own. Take what I'm giving you and make it your own. And I did that. and I'm a happy guy. I'm a happy guy. You know,
There's a great video I want to do when I get the time, which is to home brew my own DX Commander. So I'm not allowed to use any production gear at all on the shelf.
That would be cool.
I've got to buy bits of plywood and bits of aluminium and cut it out with a hacksaw. I think it'd just be funny. You know, this is what you could do. There is method in my madness, because people are going to think to themselves, there's no freaking way I'm doing that. I'll just blind a kid.
Let me tell you, I found at the dump at our transfer station this metal. It was an umbrella stand, but it was probably about 28 inches, round. But it was too heavy. I'm like, how would I get the wires up there? But again, how you designed it through with the wires. Again, let's just go to the manufacturer. Let's go to the guy who's done all this stuff at 3 a.m. Just like what Molson was saying, because I'm sure at 3 a.m. your brain is pushing out ideas.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
It is.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Callum, and on the show when we were talking about this topic, was that you've mastered a couple of things. Number one is marketing. Your product is marketed very well. The other thing is you have improved and refined the complete kit, from each connector, each terminal to the whole to the pole. So it's not just you're saying before, physics. You don't earlier were saying is that physics. We're not reinventing things necessarily. I forget exactly the quote itself.
Yeah, we discover it. We don't invent it. It exists.
Exactly, but you. In the whole DX Commander, you've really refined their overall kit and system and the product itself, and so in that, and even in the video that Ham Radio Dude does, he says, "Listen, it's cheaper, it's more effective just to purchase a DX Commander," and so that kudos to you, because you see all of your what do you call it? All of your particularness in every little aspect, the connector, the bolts, the nuts in your videos, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a value to your product that is that comes through in not only in the way that the labor of love you put into building the product and preparing and packaging it, talk about anal retentiveness and how you roll the pole, you know?
Yeah.
But so
I roll the pole, buddy.
You know what I'm talking about. And so there is no replacing that, but I think that whole topic is very valuable, because there was a lot of contention on the idea of people trying to do something for themselves, and the reality is that is your video is showing people how to do it from the what's that program software you use, the
MMA,
yeah, from showing how
it's
that
got
works.
an easy interface. It might not be the best, almost accurate.
No, but you still
that
show
video 10
people
times. I
so
still
that they
can't do it.
No, but your video is about it's a DIY as much as it is as a product presentation. It's the whole kit and caboodle. And so the idea that that's the hobby in itself, is we're to experiment, we're to try and push our limits. And so the idea that anybody, in my opinion, any manufacturer would try to restrict that it goes against what the hobby is.
They definitely do. Yeah.
So, but
I only need to sell. I don't know how many it is. I honestly don't know. I'd have to look. But I know we have money in the bank and we pay the bills. So that's all I need to know. I mean, I'm not rich or anything, but
happy day. Yeah.
So the rest of the time I can just have fun, can't I? Introduce more people to the hobby. Just have a blast, basically, because life's freaking difficult.
Oh, wait, what was that word? What was that
Beer
word?
snack. Tell them about fun. Beer snack. Tell them
What
about
did he just use? He used
Fun.
fun.
Yeah, fun.
Tell them beer snack.
So, Cal, Shane, I don't know how much longer we have, but
we're on Callum's time. So whenever you're ready to throw in the white flag, you just say so.
I'm happy.
We've got until the bottom of the hour, close to the bottom of the hour, when the playlist.
I do have some rapid fire questions for him at the very, very end, though. That's all I have.
Okay, but I do want to say there is a link in the chat for those that are watching. There is a playlist tonight for Thursday night or for Tuesday night Ham Radio, and I think there's 5 or 6 videos tonight. It's a great lineup. I've got a video in there. Kyle's got a video in there. Tio's got a video in there.
6:25 Eastern. So Chuck's got one coming up right behind us.
That's a new one then.
Yep.
But yeah, so we just had to fill some time between, but I'm in no hurry, and Cal, I know it's late over there on your side.
It's only 11 o'clock local, so it's cool.
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect.
Beer snack, you got something?
Really? It's
Yeah.
been 30 minutes? What?
What are you trying to say, buddy? Oh, I do have to say, since this is an official Clubhouse meeting and we have enough members here,
we gotta vote.
we should probably make a motion.
I make a motion. I make a motion.
I made a
vote.
motion this morning.
All in favor?
Got it.
So go ahead, Izzo.
I make a motion that Lord Callum is now an official member of the Ham Radio Clubhouse.
I will second.
All in favor?
All in favor? Yeah.
There you
Welcome
go.
to the clubhouse.
Welcome. There's no benefits.
Right.
Sorry, Cal.
Ladies and gentlemen, this really is my channel now. A very good day.
now that that's
Somebody sent them the bylaws.
the question earlier in the chat was, Callum, do you take your milk in your tea before or after you pour the tea?
So after, always at the end.
Always after? Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
the hot water's not enough to get all the tea flavour out the tea.
Okay. All right.
See, I learned
And,
something non-ham radio related. Who would have thought?
Yeah. And also, the Gaming Ham, he wishes to thank you for getting him interested in helping him pass his foundation.
Incredible.
Excellent.
Oh, I see a question in there from We Build, We Learn. It says, is there any discount for fellow club members?
Who's that We Build, We Learn guy? We got to
would
ban
be
him
a
from
no.
chat.
Yes, it's a
Well, the good
negative
news is
3%
I've
discount.
been discounting the product now since I started it, so everybody gets the discount.
Everybody gets a discount.
Charge him the original price.
So
Yeah,
how's
no
your
kidding.
antenna? How's your antenna farm? I know you probably have videos coming up. I know you just did you did the junction boxes and your aluminum plate that you did for your RF grounding.
Yeah.
I have exactly pretty much the same thing here, which is awesome.
Okay, right.
But so how's it all going, and what antennas you putting?
Okay,
Don't give
so
too much secrets if you don't want to.
yeah, well, I'm funny. Maybe I'll start again. I didn't know whether to put one fantastic vertical, not right in the middle of the field, just offset, so I could always put a reflector behind it on a temporary basis, because the distance would have to move depending on the frequency. So if it was 80 meters, I'd need at least 40 feet. So I'm thinking one day I might want, for a test, to be able to get maybe another 3 dB into the US on 80 meters, I could put another Nebula behind it. So the jury's out at the moment, because I'm also trying to now think today, where am I putting I've got a 21 foot, 6 meter steel pole that I'm putting this very big dish on, which must weigh 15 pounds, something like that. And it's quite big diameter. And so that'll need some good guying. And this is for the Wi-Fi link, you see, to give me nearly a gig at the farm.
Wow.
Because at the moment I've got 1 up and 5 down. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
So if I'm going to the effort of putting that up, I'm thinking one day I might want to extend it. So because I have done 3 poles, 21 foot poles before.
Oh, wow.
But I'm thinking just reduce that. I could do a pair, get to 42 feet. Maybe to put some VHF gear up there just for ham radio fun, you know. Anyway, depending on where, that's the next thing that goes in the field, and there'll be some concrete involved, and that'll be fixed then. I'll probably just have to work around that. But I'll put one fantastic ground radial system in, and I'll have a system, so because I've already got brackets, and I'll have pre-built DX commanders, the 18, the 12s, the 10, the 7, and I can just lift it off and install it.
Oh, yeah.
So, like I say, I'm on the Rappi today, you know, whatever. So, and I'm just worried about the very low bands, because I'd like to get some copper down the tree line for like 80 meters, low to the ground. You know, just nighttime chatting to the guys a couple hundred miles away on 80, things like that.
So
But
what
I'm
kind of
nearly
array
there.
were you-
Now I've got mains at the field now today. So
Right.
now I can get the heat gun and the soldering iron out there, and I can get the coax connectors on. I'll probably start that, not tomorrow, not Thursday. I'll probably start that on Friday, getting the connectors on, because they're quite beefy connectors, and you just got to. I didn't know whether to make a video about it, to be honest, because it's the sort of thing I just like to sit and concentrate and not worry about what the camera's doing. So maybe I'll do one on the bench and say, okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to do the job now.
I have to go out and work and concentrate and and throw things and swear and
Nice. Go out into the middle of the field. Go, all right, let's see. All right, so we're going to use that one right now. I'm going to set it up. Okay, all right, we're going to put that one down. We're done with that one. That one. It's got to be nice.
It would be lovely. I'll have it on a hinge because the 18 meter is gigantic. But that'll get me on 80, vertically polarized.
Oh, wow.
Should give us a... Because once I've got... If I can get the farm actually on the local network here, and I'll have my latency will be down to like 1 millisecond. So I can have it literally like the radio is just there. That'd be fantastic. So then at night, I don't have to go to the farm. I can remote control everything from here then,
Yeah.
So Don says, do I still believe in the inverted L? Yes, I do. Absolutely, Don. And there's a lot of people with an inverted L out there. Now, the inverted L is an interesting one because I seriously never thought it'd be any blooming good. But when I used the inverted L on 80 metres from Cornwall, I was crossing the Atlantic.
Oh, wow.
On SSB on 80. It's amazing.
Now, have you noticed a difference between the inverted L versus a Raleigh coil? Are they pretty much equal, or is
I don't know.
Okay, so that's something, because I'm using the Raleigh coil, but I'm thinking of buying another pole from you, doing the inverted L, and see if I can get an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, fascinating.
Because Raleigh's another one. Raleigh's another one of those genius gods of having around.
Now, when I'm stuck, I do ask him.
Yeah,
he's kind of my unofficial research and development director.
R&D.
There you go.
He doesn't know it, but he is.
I've got a message from him here. Somebody emailed me. No, commented. Hello, Callum. I have a question. Have you measured the capacitance of the driven and the radial plate, and how much is it? Because the two plates are acting like a parallel capacitance. This has a negative effect on the effectivity, doesn't it? So I emailed Rowley on Discord. I said, Rowley, can you just give me the answer to this? Because I've got no idea.
Just cut to the chase.
Yes, he says.
Help a brother out.
There will be parallel capacitance. Because of the spacing, it would be quite minute, and it would only come into play at frequencies outside the HF spectrum. I will attempt to measure it on my setup later today and let you know if it's significant. And then he said, okay, on mine, I have 8 picofarads between the plates in its normal configuration. This equates to a reactance of whatever, right? This won't matter diddly squat in the scheme of things.
That's the technical answer right there.
Yeah.
But he gave me a line that I could use in future marketing. Actually, it would be very handy for very high frequency static noise. It would act as a very nice shunt. So, I just replied and said, it sounds like fantastic marketing bullshit to me.
So how did you respond to the guy? My assistant gave me the following.
I just responded.
My apprentice had a look at it for me.
My research shows
This is below me.
The engineering department has fully
We fully tested this. We have fully tested your question, and here's the answer.
bullshit.
And it's a pile of steaming shit.
I would like to make, for an April Fool's joke, a pretend marketing flyer for a DX Commander Classic.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Using jargon that it's completely meaningless. But I would describe it as if with a completely deadpan face. I've just got to write the script.
Well, I'm sure it'd be hilarious. Question for you. Talking about your vertical, were you talking about doing an array? Was that what you were mentioning?
Yeah.
Or would you do
I've
like a
done that
phased
before.
array? I know I saw your video on doing your parasitic array, right?
Yes.
And then would you do a parasitic or would you do a phased?
If I wanted to switch it, I'd have to phase it.
Yeah.
But if you just want to leave it facing Europe or whatever else, then it's a lot cheaper because there's just less coax and less to go wrong with a parasitic array. And there's insignificant, immeasurable difference between the two. It's about 3 dB extra. So it's like doubling your power. So if you've got a 1,000 watt amplifier and you're on SSB and you're trying to wait, and you're nearly getting through, 3 dB is quite a nice small kick. It's
punch.
enough on voice
That's a half S unit, right?
to lift up just the intelligibility factor. If he's already S9 and you doubled your power, he wouldn't know about it, would he? But if you're marginal, 3 dB's handy. And particularly if I'm Django barking, particularly if I'm running a pile up to the US. That extra 3 dB could be quite handy because I'm getting extra 3 dB on my ears as well, of course, on receive. Depending on if you're in a really crappy area for receive, in which case you might want a dedicated receive, like a loop on the ground or something like that,
Beverage antenna, maybe.
But could you do like so you have your phased array? Could you make it where instead of just being like say east and west, where you have like 5 in a, so you'd have it north, east, southwest?
Okay, so the triangular array,
Okay.
which I designed in software, and a couple of people went out and built it, and they said it works fantastic.
Really?
And that's when I think you drive any two and use the other one as the reflector. So you have to switch it all around. And then you end up with, and you get like 120 degrees of gain going that way. And then obviously you've got, and the advantage of these, a switchable array like that, is you've got a bit of QRM coming in. For me, it's normally the Germans or the Russians. And I'm trying to get through to the US. To be able to dial them out by 20 dB would be blooming handy,
Yeah, absolutely.
Knock it down. Yeah, exactly. Knock it down. And
Yeah, it's like the guys on the East Coast in the middle of the night on 40 are getting hammered by guys, in Midwest or out to the West Coast even,
Right.
And they're KC down, aren't they? Kilohertz down, and they're really strong, and they're trying to get Europe. They're coming right over the top of you. If you could just dial that back by 20 dB, it'd be a little bit more comfy on the ears.
Yeah.
Right, W5CMP, Chris, is dual reflector. So you feed one, triangular array, you feed one, and you use the other two as the reflectors. I couldn't remember which way around it was.
So then it notches it out then. Interesting.
You get a nice, just a push over there. Of course, if we've got RF going that way, it means we've got left RF this way on receive and transmit.
So, but your offset, your off spacing, would that be on the, like, so if you're going to off space it, say a quarter wave or whatever, would it be on the diagonal or would it be on the parallel line back towards the two? Because you'll have two parallel and then you'll have a third in the apex kind of thing, right? So would your quarter wave be the direct parallel or would it be on the diagonal from the? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, but you got the 3, and I think is that 60 degrees between each one?
Yes,
and it's a perfect triangle.
Yeah, but don't you want to,
Daniel? It's a half wavelength from each pole.
From
quarter
the poles.
Quarter wave.
Yeah. So not from the parallel line. Okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah. Quarter wave.
I say
Rowley did some testing on the parasitic, and he said actually a quarter wave that was better front to back by coming down to about somewhere between a quarter wave and an eighth of a wave. It was better front to back. In other words, there was more loss going backwards. Okay. So, for him, sometimes he wants to, I don't know, I can't remember how he wants to do this, but he gets the Indonesians and the Japanese, sometimes he wants to be able to reduce them. And he found, I think it was a sixth wave was about the right spacing for a parasitic. But again, once I got the field up, we can do all this.
Good point.
So we're getting kind of close to the end here of the playlist, or getting ready for the playlist to start. But you have a few minutes. So Don says he's got some rapid fire questions for you. So Don,
yes.
take it away.
All right, Lord Cal. Here's the thing: we all want to know a
Don.
little. We all want to know a little bit more about you, okay? And just quick answers. So, favorite snack: potato chips, pretzels, or anything else? Quick answer.
Chocolate.
Okay.
I'm with you on that one.
Favorite ice cream.
Chocolate.
You walk into a restaurant. You gonna order steak, chicken, or fish?
Steak.
How do you like your steak?
Rare. With crusty on the outside.
There you go.
Rare or blue?
Rare. Wendy has blue.
You're traveling down the roadside and there's a roadside stand. Hot dog or a hamburger?
Hamburger.
Favorite beer?
Ale. So, Tribute, Doom Bar, stuff that you've never heard of.
Probably. Yeah, right. Okay.
Or Corona. A bottle of Corona is fine.
If you wanted something a little bit, well, I don't want to say harder, but what's your favorite liquor? Something a little,
Maybe a glass of Chateau Neuf de Pape or Chateau Rothschild 34. But they're going at over $1,000 a piece.
I was just going to say that's expensive. All right. Kenwood, Yezu, ICOM, or other.
Ooh.
And
He has a big Kenwood.
I don't care, actually. I don't care.
And we can break it down for just HF or just VHF or
Yeah.
Yeah.
That topic is too big for me to answer.
Hey.
Kenwood, because I like the colour of the logo.
There you go.
But we all know it's all about the antennas more than the radio, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said. So. And the last
Dwayne got it
question
right.
and the last question that last quick fire rapid question I have is, what is your favorite, or maybe name some favorite ham radio operating events you like? Is it the ARRL Field Day or QSOAP? Okay. What do you, when you want to go operate and you want to have some fun?
Any field day is the best, where you've got an element of competition, an element of setup, deploy, an element of shit going wrong, people forgetting stuff. Then there's a bit of cooking, isn't there? There's a bit of drinking. There's the camaraderie. If you get it all right, and by the way, at 3 a.m. when you're doing the graveyard shift, just keep going, okay? Because next week you'll look back and you'll go, wow, that was a great weekend. Because the memory is always better than the actual event.
Absolutely.
Right. We're not going to remember how many contacts we had, but we're going to remember something else within the event itself, correct?
For example,
Correct, yeah.
Callum likes to
good morning,
remind us
Rolly.
that he took a full half-wave dipole for 160 meters, and he had to run it out one way, and he had to run back to the other end.
Yeah, that was a big deal, that was.
The most important question is when is Lockie and Emily? No, is that your daughter's name?
Wendy.
Emily? What? No, Wendy's your wife, right?
Yeah. So
What's your
Emily's
daughter's
already
name?
passed.
She's passed. Okay, so when is Lockie and your wife Wendy going to get?
Well, they said, I've just got to apparently push them. They said they would both do their foundation ticket for a laugh, shits and giggles, I think they say. They'll never use it, but they just wanted to prove that with about an hour's instruction, they could probably do it. Because they've been living with a nutter for the last 20 years.
Oh, that should be
Welcome,
interesting.
Rolly.
Live stream it.
It's about time.
Mr. Raleigh's here. I love it.
Mr. Rowley.
Well, Cal, we're going to break a little early in case some people need to go make water before they join in on the playlist.
Yeah.
But personally, and on behalf of the clubhouse, thank you for carving out some time to hang out with us. We appreciate it. I shot that email to you back in June saying, and I didn't expect a reply back. I was like, he's too busy. He's not going to have time to come on the clubhouse stream. But hey, look what happens when you ask, folks. Look what happens when you ask. Just
That's
ask
right.
the question.
Yeah.
Just ask the question.
I do quite a lot of club events that I don't record. Nearly one a week, actually. That I just do a little presentation, chat. Sometimes there's only 7 or 8 guys, because it's a small club.
Sure.
Very good.
Well, what's coming up next for you, Cal?
For me now. Or
What do you have
I've
coming
just
up
been
next?
editing. I've got about 5 or 6 videos, most of them Zoom calls, which are a bit of a. I don't like editing them, but I've got to get them done. And then on Friday night, I've got the electric panel. It's just a bit of fun, just putting the electric in on the field. I mean, it's not, anyone can do it, but if you want to see me dropping things and burning my hand, then tune in.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't want to see that? Pain and misery that gets the most subscribers, likes, and viewers.
I got
Well,
to say
right.
before I go, thank you so much, boys, for having me on here and passing emotion.
Yeah,
You're very
welcome. Hopefully, you come
We'll-
back
we're gonna-
another time on the
We'll
real
send you some
Clubhouse.
stickers.
Yeah, I think I should.
I'll send you some
now,
stickers.
you're normally on a bit later, are you? Than
So
this?
So normally,
We're
let's see, it's 2 hours. 2 hours later would be about the halfway point in the show.
Okay, fine. Well, I
It'd be
think I
about
should
1 a.m. I
come
think, your
on
time.
certainly once every 3 months since I'm an official member. How much does it
There you
cost, by
go.
the way?
If Andy, let me tell you,
Nothing.
if Andy Cowley can get on here, you can get on here. that guy's up at 3:00 in the morning. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
I love Andy. Andy's a
Hey,
great guy.
Callum, can you do me one favor before you go? My buddy has been crying himself to sleep in shame every night. Can you just say, dude, you have been vindicated?
Exactly. Exactly.
Keep quiet because we can record this. Dude, you have been vindicated.
I'm going to rip that audio and send it over to the
that's
Ham
great.
Radio dude so that he can announce his vindication. All right, my friends.
He's good in the chat, so.
Does anyone else have anything before we unplug this thing?
Cal,
Just wanna
thanks for
say
coming on, man. It was
thank you.
wonderful to
Thank
chat
you.
with you, hang out. Yes.
Bless you, brothers.
Long and prosper, sir.
Thanks, absolutely.
All
And
right,
Gordon
awkward
says
wave
he's still
time.
trying to pass. He's still working on it.
Everybody,
He's all
awkward
right.
wave time, and if someone wants to hit the outro, we'll call it good.
Adios, amigos.